Hello, 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 everybody. It's your girl Ashley, the amateur expert, coming to you live today for this episode of Asking for a Friend. Excited to have you guys here with us today. If this is your first time joining us, we're going to have a candid conversation about a question that you may be, too scared to talk to your girlfriend or homeboy about. So, we've got Quentin in the room, so we're going to invite him in. Hey, everybody. Thank you. Yes. We've got a good question today. I keep forgetting to pin it. Hey,
Okay, I think
Quentin,
I'm
how are
in.
you?
I'm
You're
doing
in.
pretty
We
well.
got you. Ooh,
That's
let me
good. That's
change my
good.
angle a little bit.
You got.
Welcome to the Amateur Expert Show.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for
A-
having me.
Absolutely. So, Quentin, I was having a conversation with my homegirl the other day. We were
Okay.
discussing dating,
Okay.
and
Okay.
I'm wondering, what does that look like after major breakup or divorce?
Yes. So for me, it was different. So I was married for 5 years, um, and got divorced. So when I got prior to my relationship with my previous wife, I felt like for a male perspective, it was more or less men having to put in, I guess, a lot of work. Or I feel
Okay.
like for guys, we was doing a lot of the talking, a lot of the chasing, et cetera, et cetera. But after I got divorced, it felt like it's something different, and I became single again, late 20s, early 30s, and I felt like at that time the pool for men, especially black men, was significantly less,
Hmm.
and by nature, it seemed like um, the dating pool for me was bigger than it was 10 years ago or 6, 7, 8 years ago. So for
So
me,
what I'm hearing you say is that you ended a relationship, made a major relationship, and walked out into the world into a sea
yes,
of women who were just waiting
yep,
to have you.
yep. But I will say that things were better, because I was interacting with women who was more mature, who had you
Mm,
kind of knew where they was going in life. Um, from a religious standpoint, you knew how they was going to be. Dating somebody early 20s, late teens, the person they were then, it could be
mhm.
totally different by 25, 26, 27. But generally
Okay.
speaking, when you talking to somebody in your late 20s, your early 30s, you kind of start seeing things more steady. Even if you see a lot of growth, you at least have an idea on how that path is going to be. So I felt like it was more interesting, dating later on in my life than it was early, only because it allowed me to really get to know someone. It wasn't about, oh,
Mm,
she's pretty, let me go date her like it was before. Now it's like, all right, let me see what she's doing religiously. Let me see how she is personality. Let me see how she's going to do or interact under different circumstances. And let me see how her personality is, and also career. And one thing about me, I've never been one who focused a lot on someone who's extremely successful, but it's someone who's steady, someone have a good job, somebody have someone who, I guess, have a good path. And I'm sorry for the the baby in the background.
no, we
I don't know
good.
if you can hear it.
Because this is a
So
success story. So I'm happy that we have the baby in the background. But
yes.
what I want
So
to ask you quickly is, do you think that dating for you was different after your relationship ended because you were looking for something different?
oh,
So
absolutely.
not only did the women that you were looking for, change or elevate, you elevated yourself?
Mhm. Absolutely. For me, it comes with being in a relationship for that long. Unfortunately, but coincidentally, because it didn't end in success. It didn't have a great farewell story. It didn't have a great happy ever after story. Because of it, it kind of allowed me to have my priorities shifted in ways that would positively impact me, as well as allow me to get rid of things that I felt was good qualities in myself, good
Mhm.
qualities in a person I'm seeking, and throw them away because they was actually toxic in the relationship I came from, or toxic and when I see other friends and family relationships. So for me, it allowed me to be a better person and be
Hmm.
better off. Because when you're in a relationship, I think long term, essentially, I'm guessing about 2+ years maybe. when you're in a relationship that long, you're beyond the honeymoon phase. You're beyond the idea where, okay, everything he does, or everything she does is perfect. You
Yeah,
now in the stage where, okay, you might have one great day, two great days, and then you might have a disagreement. The disagreement could be for a minute or two. The disagreement could be for a week.
for sure.
Unfortunately, that's how it is. So for me, it made me a better person. But of course, nobody want to be able to sit there and say, "Well, I failed at this long-term relationship as a
That is
result of
so
it." But
real.
yeah.
So question,
Mm-hmm.
when you started dating, did you make like a grand announcement that you had been married previously? Um, because I find that so I haven't officially started dating yet, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? But for a long time that was like one of the top three things that I would say
Mm-hmm.
because I felt like that was a part of my identity and I wasn't sure how
Mm-hmm.
to shut it. So I wonder from your point of view, how did you go
Uh,
about navigating?
so I know a lot of people tend to have divorce parties, but that wasn't me. A lot of it, I don't judge anybody who has it. It's just for me, I felt like when you really invest, especially when you do something on a guy, you're not supposed to really
Mhm,
celebrate his
for sure,
failure. I'm happy to have gotten out of that situation, but I also didn't want to celebrate it in that way.
for
So
sure.
for me, it was very smooth. It was very. I didn't make any announcement, didn't make anything. A lot of my close friends, a lot of my close family knew it was coming.
Hmm.
They knew pretty much the date, they knew everything. So ideally, a lot of the people who I was close with just knew through word of mouth. And for me, I wasn't hiding it. I didn't mind who knew. It just that I wasn't celebrating. And the difficult part for me is with my ex, we didn't do too much together towards the end of our relationship.
Hmm.
So for me to just be out there on my own during the day, doing work function, doing all types of activities, it was pretty common. So
Hmm.
for me to have continued to do the exact same thing when I was single, nobody really thought too much of it. But at the
For
same
sure.
time, people start to pick up on things when they see Facebook or Instagram. Like, okay, okay, and then again, it's one of those things where through word of mouth, and then just by just interacting with me or seeing things, people eventually got the idea that I had went on from my past relationship.
For sure. But so I guess in addition to that, when you met a lady or when you were hanging out with somebody new, how
Mm-hmm.
soon did you share that you were divorced or did it not come up?
Oh, it came up. It came up. I really felt like I didn't want to leave anything in the dark. I wasn't I guess when I introduced myself or go talk to someone, I was gonna say, "Hey, my name is Quentin. I'm recently divorced." But at the same time, over time through a good conversation, because for all we know, the conversation might last 5 minutes. Sorry,
It's
the
okay.
conversation might last 5 minutes. It might last an hour. It depends on where we are, or the conversation. So for me, it definitely will be talked about early on, but not at least in the beginning until we fill each other out and go from
Okay.
there.
That's good. That I had to learn that.
Yeah.
It was like, "Hi, my name is Ashley. What's up? How are you? Yeah, by the way, I'm divorced." What? Yeah, I don't know. I was
Well,
incredibly awkward about it.
well, I will say it varies from different situations. I don't think there's a right or wrong way to do it. I
Hmm.
think it depends on how you transition to your new norm.
That's a good
And for
point.
my situation, it took uh, it was 2 years in the making. It was so for me, it wasn't on a sense where like last month everything was rocky, but we were together, and then boom, I'm single. It was not 2 years ago things were rocky, but we kind of
Try to
carried it
make
on
it
for
work.
2 years. So
Yeah,
when things when I was finalizing and I was single, it was just a matter of me like, okay, well, here we go. So for me, it wasn't like I guess a drastic. So I think it varies for everyone. It's just a matter of when it happened, how long had that downward trend unfortunately been taking place, and so forth. So
How long did you think, or do you think is an appropriate time to wait to start dating after breakup and or divorce?
well, if you ask me, I would say, depending on how long it is, I would say at least a year. Um,
To start dating
it,
seriously or
yes. I would say
Okay.
that now. I would give my caveat is I did not wait a year. The man above had other plans for me, and I ended back in the relationship 5 months later with my beautiful, amazing wife, where we just had a wonderful daughter. So
Yay.
what I had planned was definitely different from what the man above had planned for me because, like I said, in my thought process is I was going to just be single, enjoy life as it comes to me for a year, probably start looking out in the dating scene a year after that, and then probably 2 years down the road, really start getting really implemented into a serious relationship. But again, my 1 to 2 year plan ended up only being 5 months.
Were you, and well, obviously you weren't looking for relationship, but were you looking to like heal your past wounds, or like were you trying to prepare yourself in that time for your next relationship?
For me, yes and no. Um, I spent half the time going with the flow and the other half trying to be the better person because I, a lot of it when you spend so much time with one person, regardless if it's a boyfriend, girlfriend, long-term engagement, or
Hmm.
married, you kind of like invest yourself in that person. So for me to have gone all those years, one person is like, and then it fails, you kind of pretty much self-evaluate yourself. And too many people try to look at the other person like, oh, they did this, they did that. But at the same time, if I don't do my own self evaluation, I might end up with the same type of person who I was playing the blame game with. And I'm not saying that she was to blame because honestly, it was mutual. It was definitely, we both had our reasons for it. And then it just
For sure.
yeah, like I can end up with the same type of person who's just not for me. Not saying she's not great, not saying that she's not the perfect person for somebody. It's just that she wasn't for me.
Hmm.
And all I know is if I'm sitting here and I go back and doing the exact same thing, looking at the same qualities of a person, it might be a situation where, all right, 2 years down the road, I'm going through this again, and at that point, I'm pushing 40. So, so for me, yeah, you definitely have to understand yourself, do a self evaluation of yourself because you also want to look for the perfect person next time around. So, not perfect, but at least someone perfect for you.
For you, for sure. Um, when you said a lot of your friends and family were privy to that it was about to
Mhm.
happen.
Yeah.
Um, and were there any friends that were shocked and or like disappointed? Like, did you, I won't say care about their feelings, but were you concerned about how people who weren't necessarily in the loop or in the inner circle
Mhm.
were going to feel about it?
Yeah. Yeah. It 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 gets it made me think about other people's feelings, and I think that's one of the reasons why it took about 2 year downward trend is because I could tell that we both was in a relationship because we didn't want to prove people wrong. We
Mm-hmm.
wanted to make it whereas that okay, well, we got married young, we got together young, we did this young, we did this young, let's prove them wrong that this can last. And then, so the more we tried, the more one of us tried, and the more the other person tried, the more it just got more dysfunctional. So at one point, we definitely considered other people, but towards the end, um, not really. A lot of people were shocked
Mm-hmm.
because they remember us from college. They remember us during certain scenarios and situations.
For
But
sure.
overall, I don't want to say too many people were disappointed because they value both of our happiness. And
Mm-hmm.
also, and very, very sadly to say, when you have like roughly 50% of the people getting divorced, it gets to a point where it might not be as shocking because, like, all right, it's the new norm, not new norm, but it's like it's average.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's
yeah.
sad that it's
It's
like
to
that.
not to be
And
it's to be expected, or it's
right.
not shocking.
Right. And it's sad to say because you always want everybody to be happy. You always want things to be perfect. And at the same time, you kind of like when you're doing something in such a fantastic religious way, you want to see things go the distance. You want that the notebook type of lifestyle for your
For
mate.
sure.
So it's sad to say that, but as a result of the 50%, you I really didn't find too many people disappointed. So,
Did you guys have, well, I'm sure you had mutual friends, some mutual
mm,
friends.
mm.
Um, How did you guys decide who got who in the divorce? Right? You
So,
gotta split up the house. You gotta split up any property that you have, and then friends. Friends are not
uh,
property, but something that needs to
so
be decided.
I can only speak from my perspective,
Okay.
and from my perspective, I didn't put that pressure on anyone because we've been together for so long. When things went sour, um, I didn't want to put any of my, especially none of my close friends who were mutual friends, because some of the people who are friends until the day I die, for 100% sure, who we can laugh, all types of things together. I don't want them to feel any type of way by interacting with her. I didn't want
For
them to
sure.
feel any type of way that they were pretty much walking around eggshells in case we cross paths because we all went to the same college or university, or I met them through other factors. It's hard to avoid people, and as you see, it's a small world. So,
Correct.
so from my perspective, I really didn't say to anyone, not one person, oh, don't talk to her, don't do this, because at the end of the day, I know that they're going to have my back. I know that they trust me. I know that they're going to support me. And I know they're not going to do anything to just pretty much drag me in the mud. So for me to say don't talk to her, I feel like I didn't care. Um, Now I would say differently for family though. If it was family, then I'll probably say, all right, now I'm probably questioning them. But for
Whew,
friends, yeah, it didn't impact me, nor did I really mind or care.
that's cool. So now that you are married,
Mhm.
have you had any scenario, the situations where you felt uncomfortable or the situation was uncomfortable because of a mutual friend, not necessarily your past partner, but just them being used to you being with this one person. Maybe you guys had like the inside jokes or anything of that. Was did that come up at all?
No, you mean like how the past pretty much impact the present in a way?
Correct. So with your current wife,
Mhm.
you guys are all hanging out with
Mhm.
a group of your old friends.
Right, right.
Um, was
So
that awkward or like you know what I mean? Was there any tensions or anything that made the situation?
no, because a lot of my close friends knew that I was going to be single. They knew that what was coming from my ex. So the biggest concern in the beginning was with my wife. Um, at the time, because it was so fresh, like I said, it was just 5 months.
Hmm.
She was a little nervous that she wouldn't be accepted around my friends and
Of
family. She
course,
was nervous that she being looked at the person who replaced somebody. So from that, it just comes with communication, and I completely understand where she came from because if roles were reversed, I definitely would have probably felt the same way.
for
Like if
sure.
someone been in a relationship for 5, 6 plus years,
Yeah,
and then 5 months later, here I come to replace him and be with her, then of course it kind of feel like awkward. Like, oh no, am I this new person now? Am I the rebound? Am I all this and that? But a lot of it comes from communication. And I understood exactly where she was coming from. Um, I consistently ensured to her that it's not like that. And the good thing about it is I could be a very goofy person, and I'm also surrounded by a lot of goofy friends. So they let it be known that they love her from the beginning,
good.
and luckily I have a lot of friends and family in place that really welcome her in the beginning. The concern I have now is that they said that if something were to go wrong, that they'll be kicking me out the family instead of her. So I'm kind of nervous about that, but outside of that, it comes with the territory. It's sad to say. I think that if you do had the opportunity to wait that year, wait the 2 years, being in a relationship and having that other person come in would be an easier transition. But to do it sooner, it definitely is. It's something that the two people had definitely had to come together to actually talk it through. He or she had to understand the insecurities of the other person because it's real. And like I said, I'm not the most insecure person, but if roles were reversed, I definitely would have felt the same way.
For sure. That's a very good point. So I am 7 months into it, I
Mm,
think.
mm,
What advice would you give
mm.
me, someone who recently divorced? And I don't know if that recent, I don't know what the rules are in regards to the timing.
So,
Um, what advice would you give someone
uh,
like myself, in regards to,
mm,
um, having hope
mm,
for, future relationship,
mm, mm.
that happily ever after
Yeah.
that, we all long for.
Well, Well, I will start with my another caveat there. I'm definitely not a guru of
Oh,
anything
for sure, for
whatsoever.
sure, for sure. No, this is
But
just for fun.
yeah, but I'll honestly say that the for advice wise is first and foremost pray on it. I know this seems very cliche, but one of the things I did before talking to my wife now is I literally prayed. I talked to women beforehand, uh, and some of them got mad at me because I wasn't taking them seriously. And it's like,
Mhm.
okay, well, I'm literally fresh out. I'm not trying to take anything seriously. And then
Right.
one day, after a long text message exchange with someone who wasn't happy that I wasn't as committed as she wanted me to be. I prayed on it. I literally prayed to God, like, please, if there's anyone that I could possibly come across within the next 1 to 2 years, please let me see that this is someone for me. And literally a week later, that's when I started talking to my wife out of pure, well, that's a long story, but it's a great story of how we started talking. But so yeah, so I definitely say pray, and the prayer part is not just for yourself. It's just, not just for the man, it's also for yourself.
Mhm.
Making sure that you're right mentally, in your heart, everything, spiritually, obviously. But outside of that, a lot of it just be yourself. One thing that I think at this point of the stage that attract people beyond looks is your personality and being yourself, doing the stuff that you enjoy, doing the stuff that you love. It kind of attract people with similar mindset, or at least in a way where okay, I'm out and about at this wonderful music festival. I'm out at this museum. You might come across somebody you might like or so forth. So my thing is just be yourself, know your worth, have expectations and standards. It could be just two or three standards. It could be two or three expectations. Don't make it where it's that you had this long list and then all these people coming around trying to talk to you and then you block them because they don't meet your list. It could be
Right.
where I have my three foundation points. I might have like 10 other expectations, but as long as you can at
Or
least
preferences, right? Is that
preferences.
we
There you
talked
go. I'm
about?
sorry, preferences.
Yeah.
I don't know why I can say expectations, but yes, preferences. Preferences. Um, and one thing that we previously mentioned about you can have 10 of those. You don't need someone to meet all 10, but if someone can meet three or four, they might introduce three or four more to you that you never considered that
Yep.
hey, this actually makes me happy. I like doing this. I like just chilling. I like just doing that. So
Yep.
for you, I would say spiritually, this is pray on it, and then not just for the relationship basis, more for yourself as well. Just be yourself. You never know. It could be somebody at a coffee shop when you're just getting coffee. They might come up to you, and then the other one just have your standards or expectation, so you know your value, but at the same time be open to people with different personalities. Because at the end of the day, that's what dating is for.
I love
Dating
that.
is for meeting people who you might like that's similar to you, meeting people who you like who is the polar opposite of you, meeting people who you might like or dislike who might introduce other characteristics or into your lifestyle that you might like or like, nah, it's not for me after all. But so the good thing about dating is it literally is like a consistent interview with
Yes.
someone you're interested with. So,
For
so
sure.
yeah, so definitely have your hardcore. This is what I need in a man, but at the same time, I expect this or I prefer this. But if I
Prefer
don't
this.
get it,
Yeah.
hey, what you got?
All right. So the last question, $1 million question, right?
Okay.
So you were in a relationship for 5 plus years. It ended. You had a plan for 1 to 2 years. Um, how did you know that your wife was the one? Or did
All
she
right.
tell
So it's
you?
oh no no. So I everything that lead up to it. So the start. So we
You
have a
can give
mutual
us the
friend.
abridged version if you want.
Okay. We have a mutual friend named Raven. She would consistently tell you the not true version of how my wife and I met. It's not
I
true. We
I
actually
heard that
met.
story actually last week.
So we actually met at a bar crawl that we went to with probably like 12 people. But she and I were already friends with a large group of work friends. After the crawl, we were supposed to go to this R&B concert. Unfortunately, between people not even wanting to go anymore or people not getting tickets, it just ended up us two going to the R&B concert. So this is
Okay.
a pretty much a 90s R&B because we love 90s R&B. 80s too, but we love 90s R&B. So it's just us two. And then that's what kind of get the fire going and among other things as well. So for me, what got me thinking, well, starting to get a little plug about whether or not she's the one or not, is we were just having a lot of fun traveling, concerts, other events, just doing hiking. There's a lot of different events that we love, but at the same time, that stuck out to me the most is whenever we probably in the 5 years we've been together, we probably didn't see eye to eye probably 6 or 7 times.
Hmm.
But the times that we weren't seeing eye to eye like that together while we were dating, our communication was flawless. There was 1 or 2 times where it probably went over to the next day, but for the most part, everything was talked out, everything was discussed, and our communication was amazing. Uh, Fast forward to when I found out she was the one, literally sitting on the couch watching the TV. I just wish I remember what show of TV it was, but we were just goofing off, joking. And I remember the guy on the TV or something about his leg coming off or something like that. And so I jokingly said, I don't know how I said it or why I said it about me leaving her. And she said that even if her legs were cut off or didn't have legs, that she would chase after me. And it
Aw,
sounds so simple. I always tell you it's the most simple statement in the
that's
world,
so
but for
sweet
some
though.
reason that stood out to me more than anything else. And I knew right then that one day she was gonna be my wife.
I
And
love that.
so, so yeah, so
That
yeah.
is a beautiful story, and I am so happy that you found love after
Thank you.
divorce, and you
Yeah.
making making me feel real hopeful. Just someone in the comments are just waiting for the world to open up so she can accidentally go to a concert with her for her future babe too.
Nah, I say just be yourself. And I know I mainly spoke from a male perspective, but I try my best to make it as general as I can. But I know from a woman's perspective, I know it's definitely a different scene, definitely different vibes. But yeah, so
That was perfect. Well, you have given me a lot of information to take back to my homegirl, so I appreciate you being on this show. I'm gonna
no
go give her
problem.
a call. Um, I don't know if you want to share your socials. People want to follow you or whatever the case may be. You don't
Sure,
have to if you don't want to, but giving you the
sure,
floor.
sure. My name is Quentin Guy. My Instagram is QGuy10, QGUY10.
Ladies,
And
he is happily married with a baby, so don't get no ideas. Thank you again for being on the
all
show.
right, thank you. I really appreciate it.
No
Have a
problem.
good
Take
one.
care.
Take care.